Okay, today we continue with our class laws of Tzedakah Maaser, and we start with Sefer Shmiras Haloshon, and our topic is root causes. Verbal remembrance of the Miriam's action will inspire a person to refrain from Haloshon Hara only if he is not in a habit transgressing this bitter sin. However, one who has developed this habit and thus finds it difficult to refrain from speaking and listening to forbidden talk, must deal with the spiritual malady as we would treat physical one. To cure the physical condition, one must determine the condition source and then administer the appropriate medication. Similarly, when one is afflicted with a penchant for a particular form of gossip, for negative behavior, he must determine its root cause and eradicate it. So it's very interesting. So let's read again. We're going to explain. And it says, so, sorry. The time before that, we're discussing the story of Miriam, right? That's one of the remembrance that we say every day after Shabbos. And he says, how is it possible people just finish saying and they start speaking Lashon Hara? That's a very interesting question. So today we say verbal remembrance of the Miriam's affliction will inspire a person refrain from Lashon Hara only if he is not in habit transgressing this bitter sin. Meaning, if person is too deep into it, they do not even see what's wrong. That's the issue. You understand? That's the huge issue. Okay, but if he's not there or she's not there, so just one reminder is maybe that's good, right? For example, if somebody is smoking and then somebody said that smoking is not good, okay, or it can damage somebody's health, okay, they say okay, no problem. But somebody who is not smoking or is smokes from time to time, he hears, whoa, smoking, whoa, I better stop. Okay, I think that's a similar situation. However, one who has developed such a habit and thus finds it difficult to refrain from speaking and listen to forbidden talk must deal with the spiritual malady that he would do with the physical one, right? When it's too deep and it's impossible to just to stop, right? It's a part of this person, part of that person's personality, right? That they must do something like drastic, something like a surgery, right? As he said, treat the spiritual malady is a physical one. Okay. To cure a physical condition, one must determine the condition source and then administer the appropriate medication. So we don't go by the symptoms. Symptoms are very important, but we must understand the cause, right? Does somebody have a headache for a few days or something, right? Very severe, so the doctor might send the person to MRI. So it's not the head, it's something else. I mean, it could be something in the head, but it could be somewhere else in the body. Need to check, right? So we need to determine the root cause. Similarly, when one is afflicted with a penchant of the particular form of negative behavior, he must determine the root cause and eradicate it. So as we said many times, so maybe it's your surroundings, maybe it's your right, maybe it's you, maybe you're the initiator of the conversation. You're trying to be friendly and ask people questions, and they are eager to answer you, right? That's a problem. Next one, continue. The root cause of Lashon Hara alluded in the words, literally geinom. Called geinom. Okay. All geinom. These words the acronym of anger, scoffing, arrogance, despair, without rule of regulation, negativity, and saying it is permissible. We shall elaborate on each one of these traits. There are those who are frequent transgressors of the law of forbidden speech, as rooted in trait of anger. These people are nature, quick-tempered, and their anger flares in the slightest provocation. In a fit of anger, they find it impossible to control their tongues, speaking whatever comes to mind. There is no hope for such a person to develop the quality of Shmiras Haloshon unless they learn to overcome their tendency toward anger. Okay, so let's do it again, and we're going to explain one more time. The root cause of Lashon Hara alluded in the words like all geinom, right? So what is it? All geinom. The words are acronym of anger. So as we said, and I think we're going to go character trait by character trait in the next paragraphs, but here he already describes anger. Scoffing. So people need to talk about somebody else, make all of these remarks. Arrogance, right? To put somebody down, of course, yeah. So and just say how everybody's not up to their standards, up to their level. Despair, right? Despair meaning desperate person, that everybody is this, that, they're not reliable, that evil, and a person would talk non-stop. So, and sometimes people ask this question, or not even question, they decide just because somebody is in the deep depression, so you can listen to whatever they have to say, and you have to continue conversation. I mean, that's not the solution. Your listening is not going to help them. I mean, to relieve the despair for some time, but in the long run, it's not going to help. We need to find a permanent solution. If they want, if they don't want, it's going to be a waste of time. It's like you're going to put your energy, your life, your time into like a bucket with the holes in the bottom. Guaranteed. I did it. I know. Without rule of regulation, he is say ownerless, right? Meaning I can do whatever I want. I can say whatever. It's my opinion. What, I'm not entitled to my opinion. That's we heard it many times, right? Next one, negativity, and I think all of us knows. I know some people, and somehow in my mind, I mean, it's my personal theory. They look very similar in my mind, and they dress very similar. I'm talking about guys, and the same body constitution. I'm not sure why, and they same way of preference of dressing. Right? And always negative, and some sarcastic remarks, and that's it. That's the whole person. And the last one is a huge one, saying it is permissible. Right? It's permissible for me because this and that and that. Okay. We shall elaborate on each of these traits. So we start with what? With anger. Right? One more time, there are those who frequent transgression of the law forbidden speech is rooted in trait of anger. So when a person is angry, it's like demons possess them. You understand? So, and he's not in control. She's not in control. Whatever they say, and even though, as somebody told me, he said, I knew if I'm going to say it, we would need to get divorced. But I could not hold my back. So I could not hold myself back. It's very sad. It's very, very sad. Like a person, like in his mind, he knew he should not have said that, and then he did anyway because he was angry. Scary. There are people by nature quick-tempered and eager, and their anger flares with slight provocation. Right? So. Or somebody jokes with them, I don't know, whatever happened. They exploded and they said whatever they said. In a fit of anger, they find it impossible to control their tongues, right? Speaking whatever comes to their mind. And as I said, in this time, and I also heard from a few other people who had the problem, I mean, have a problem, shalom bias. I mean, go fix that. You understand? So it got stuck in a partner's head, and that's it. It's not so easy to take out, right? Why? Because of the one sentence or two sentences. They could have been avoided if a person just keep quiet. That's it. That's how much it's cost. A lot, right? I mean, literally, like money-wise as well. Okay. There is no hope for such a people to develop quality of Shmiras Haloshon unless they learn to overcome the tendency toward anger. Meaning what? If everything is good, yeah, they control themselves. But as soon as they're angry, that this goes to the garbage. That's why we have to go always to the root cause. Anger. Okay. Stop. Any questions on what we said?
Rabbi?
Yes.
So how much of the not so positive way we react to problems and other people's shortcomings, how much of this could we attribute to a lack of proper sleep? Usually, one gets more irritable, one gets more, it's easier for one to get pissed off with when you don't sleep properly, especially when you sleep between 2 or 3 hours a day. I'm not trying to blame it all into this issue, but how much could we attribute the way we react negatively to this situations because of the lack of sleep?
It's a lack of sleep, or it's a person just exhausted. Doesn't matter. Maybe he works so much, right? So, and it's easier when one spouse is exhausted, for example, got stuck in a traffic, right? Also, it's very, very it takes a lot of energy even to drive. Like, what are you doing for 2 hours? Sitting in a car. It's very, very exhaustive. Right, and then she comes home and he said something, and she exploded, right, because she was tired from what was going on. So the thing is, as we said today, we have to look at root cause and see how we can fix. If it's actually a big blessing. Is we said that we know that the problem, and it is a problem, like a lack of sleep. Right, so we have to work on that, see what we can do, what can we improve. Right, for example, somebody get into bed very late and then cannot get up and then sleep late. So it's so I told that person, make yourself get up very early. Like even if you're going to sleep 1 or 2 hours, you're going to suffer 1 day, 2 days. 3 days, whatever is it, and the body is going to give up, right? And then at 9 p.m. you're going to sleep like a baby, right? So that's the only way to force yourself to break yourself, and like in a few times, and body needs to sleep. There is what is it, disease, insomnia, I think, or whatever it's called, and it does not apply to most of the people. These people cannot sleep. And I think they're not that tired as a normal people, who usually just don't sleep enough. Okay. We also had a student. It was actually she sent me many questions and said I need the answers now. Okay, it was many years ago. I was not as busy, but okay. Well, so she had to go and to this test, because she had this issue, and this test is actually overnight, so they have to measure. So she the whole office works overnight, and they have to they sleep, and these they connected to machines, like all this serious stuff. It's very interesting. So we had to figure out and ask them questions whether or not it was a Yichud issue. You understand? And then it was an Yichud issue, right? Because she was sleeping, right? And male these technicians were of course they would not come every hour and check, but from time to time they would walk around and see. Of course they always slept in a dress, but still, that's what the Yichud issue for sure. Yeah, we arranged it. We explained. So she went to another place, and there is doctor more religious, I think, and there were female nurses. But it's very interesting. Yeah. So I'm aware of the issue, lack of sleep. Right. So for some people it's very, very serious, but for some people it's just because of the food they eat. For example, if you eat too late, right? To eat like right before you go to bed. It's very unhealthy. So Rambam said, eat like 3 hours, 2 hours minimum before you go to bed. Right? Then by that time, the whole food is digested or mostly digested, and that's it. Right? The whole body is tired from digesting food, and it needs a little rest. Right. Okay. What else? Any other questions?
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay. Okay, so let's continue. So we start in today next chapter, number 15. And now topic, additional uses for Maaser funds. Okay. Ideally, one should give his Maaser money to help the poor, and especially to help support those who may be in need and are learning Torah. This includes any institution dedicated to support Torah. However, there are times and circumstances that one would also be permitted to use Maaser funds for his own purposes. In this chapter, we'll discuss when and how this applies. Okay. So now it's, of course, it is an exceptional situation. Of course, it's proper to donate to the needy, preferably to needy who learn Torah. And there is always need in there, right? They have big families, have a lot of needs, Baruch Hashem. So you cannot miss, right? But now we're going to say if in some cases you're allowed to spend on yourself, and some people, they always spend on themselves without even asking the question. It's very interesting. So let's see the exceptions. A, mitzvah hivius, obligatory mitzvah. One may not use Maaser funds to fulfill any mitzvah in which he is obligated. Therefore, for example, one cannot use his Maaser money to purchase tefillin or esrog for himself. Right. So before we continue, so there is some mitzvah that person is obligated to do, and some mitzvahs if you get a chance. Right. So you're not obligated to put yourself in that situation, and there are some mitzvah like a beautification of the mitzvah. Right. So we're talking about obligatory. So minimum, the bare minimum. So the bare minimum man must have tefillin. Okay. So he cannot use his his Maaser funds. But there is exceptions. So let's see. Even if the mitzvah is a rabbinic origin, it is also prohibited. Maaser funds may not is bold, right? Be used even for obligatory mitzvah that one performs through giving money. Meaning on Purim, I guess. Therefore, one may not fulfill the mitzvah, matas levianim, gives to the poor on Purim, exactly, and Maaser funds, with his Maaser funds, since one is obligated in that mitzvah. However, any amount above the requirement minimum, generally accepted to be $1 per indigent, necessary to fulfill the mitzvah matos levianim, may be given from Maaser funds. Okay, so let's try to understand. So far we're saying if it's obligatory mitzvah, you're not allowed to take from Maaser funds, and not only Torah, but even rabbinical, and even if it's a mitzvah connected with money, like give to the poor on Purim, right? But everything extra from that money, so you can give, because you give tzedakah to a poor, right? And this is also goes to the poor. So they say minimum. First, you have to fulfill minimum of that of that mitzvah, and then you can add for beautification. That's it's going to be as a gift to the poor. I mean, can come from your master. So they say they like acceptable custom is to $1 minimum per poor person, indigent, and plus you can add from your maser. Okay, so of course we're talking about exceptional cases, when person does not have any other money. Okay. Continue. B. Mitzvah sheina mechuyeves, non-obligatory mitzvah. There is a dispute among Baskim as to whether one may use Maaser funds in order to perform mitzvahs which are not obligatory. Not obligatory. For example, if you wanted to be a sandak at bris and offer the parents of the child certain sum of money to be given this honor, would he be permitted to use Maaser money? Okay, so now we're going to obligatory. We got like give money to poor on Purim, Esrog, Lulav, Tefillin. That's straightforward. So now we're saying non-obligatory mitzvah, and here is the thing. The example that they give the sandak. Who is the sandak? The guy person who holds the baby during the circumcision. So that's very, very big honor, and it's very big zgula and stuff like that. So people usually pay money, right, for the honor. So everybody is standing. It's very interesting. Everybody is standing except except this sandak, right? So he's the one sitting, holding the baby, and that's good, right? So and some people are willing to pay because it's big zgula. I'm not sure for parnasa. I don't know for what. I'm not into zgulas, but people would pay for the whole ceremony, whatever is it, including dinner, or not dinner, breakfast, whatever, lunch, or whatever is it, meal, for everything, right? Just or partially pay, just to get this honor. They need honor. They need this. What is gula? Okay. So the question is, since it is a mitzvah in some sense, and it is you're not obligated. You're not obligated. So can you use Maaser money? That's the question. So of course, before we continue, we understand if the person is avrech, if they're poor people, there is of course there is much more room for leniency, right? So yes, you give them as a tzedakah. Okay, but you're trying to hide the tzedakah in some sense by buying this honor. Okay. Some poskim of the opinion that in a case where one would not be able to perform the mitzvah without using Maaser funds, he would be allowed to do so. Okay. So it's very interesting, right? So they say the person wants to do this mitzvah, maybe, right? And he has no way to purchase. As we said, it depends how many people are going to come for this circumcision. It could be, I don't know, 100 people show up. Simple, right? Go feed 100 people, right? With wine, with maybe music, entertainment. It was, it's a lot of money. Okay, and not just feed, not just give him bagel or something. Yeah, a good meal. Okay. Right. So if person cannot afford otherwise, so he's allowed to so according to the first opinion, at least, to take some money from Maaser. Okay. Other poskim maintain that Maaser funds are supposed to be used for the poor and the limud Torah, and therefore may not be used to performance of the mitzvahs. Even according, okay, so before we continue, so other poskim say, no, like, what are you saying? He wants to do the mitzvah, that's very good, right? But this money of the Maaser, is supposed to be dedicated for poor people and people who learn Torah. What is the connection? You want to be honored by everybody, it's very good of you, but why poor people should suffer? That's the question. Or avrechim, just because you want to do the mitzvah. Even according to the most stringent opinion, where his initial acceptance of the minhag, of the Maaser, one did so on the condition of using Maaser funds for non-obligatory mitzvah, he would be allowed to do so. Okay, so we spoke about it before, And we said that since there is such an opinion that give Maaser, this 10% or 15, 20%, doesn't matter, whatever Maaser, that person gives is actually minhag. It's actually just a tradition. So, I mean, of course, we keep tradition. We're not trying to get rid of it. No, we keep the tradition. But if person make this neder, like when person was accepting this, say, he did stipulations. So if needed, I want to use this money for non-obligatory mitzvah. So then there is no problem. That's a condition fulfilled. So, and if somebody did not put the stipulation and he wants to include the stipulation, you just have to go and nullify this neder, your oath, right? And then start with a new oath. So from now on, if I would want to do this some non-obligatory mitzvah with this money, like of course on a one-time basis maybe, right? That's would be fine. Okay. If one, however, did not make such a stipulation, he may not use his Maaser money for this purpose. Okay, as we said, only going forward. Okay, one who does rely on this leniency should not use more than half of the Maaser funds for non-obligatory mitzvah. Okay, so let's see. So one more time. If one, however, did not make such a stipulation, he may not use the Maaser money for this purpose. Meaning, what does it mean? So even we did not have any stipulation at all. You just continue doing the same thing. You given tzedakah, so you did it 3 times in a row. That's it. It became your neder. Period. Okay, it became your neder. So you would not be allowed to take this money and for non mitzvah purposes. Even for non-mitzvah purposes. Okay. And one who does rely on this leniency, and he made a stipulation, like before starting giving Maaser, that I'm if needed, I'm going to take this money to perform some mitzvah for myself, right? I take it to myself. I mean, right? So even in that case, no more than a half. Right, so same formula as we said before about relatives. Yeah, you're allowed to support relatives, right? But don't give them more than a half of your Maaser. Okay, continue. According to all poskim, in a case where the money for the mitzvah is going to help poor, it is permitted. So in the above situation, if the baby parents are poor and allowed to accept Maaser, right, it would be permitted to use Maaser funds to be granted this honor. Okay, so if they're poor people, right, and as we said before, they cannot afford, I mean, doesn't matter, they can, or they're poor people, most likely they cannot afford. If you pay for everything, that's amazing, right? So that's meaning they're entitled to receive your Maaser tzedakah anyway, right? So you give them with a cover of this circumcision, baby circumcision. Okay, so it's even more honorable way. Okay, continue. It is important to keep in mind that even when making such a condition, one may do so only if he cannot afford to perform mitzvahs with his own money. One who is able to afford may not is in bold, use his Maaser money, even if he made such a stipulation at the outset when he accepted upon himself to give Maaser. Furthermore, when making such a condition, it is applicable to all future Maaser separation and does not have to be renewed each time one sets aside Maaser funds. Okay. Yeah. So let's do this paragraph and go to explain. So as we said many times, but sometimes or many times people can get carried away with what they can subtract from the gross and in order to pay as little Maaser as possible. There are people like that, right? They prefer, they say, I can do it from net. Who told you can do it from net? I mean, you told yourself that you can do it from net, but nobody else. Okay. So one more time, it is important to keep in mind that even when making such a condition, one may do so only if he cannot afford to perform the mitzvah with his own money. So meaning if person has money, he is not allowed to take money from Maaser, as we said about one's parents, right? We said about parents, and they was it poor. So it would be proper to, of course, you're allowed to take money for your parents if they're poor from Maaser fund, but it would be proper to not to take, right? Not to take from Maaser and use your own money if it's possible. If it's not possible, okay, you're allowed, but it would be more like honorable if you use your own money. Like don't treat parents as regular poor people. Let's put it this way. One who is able to afford may not use the Maaser money, may not. Okay? Meaning if you have other money. Even if he made such a stipulation at the outset when he accepted upon himself to give Maaser. I mean, but sometimes people, they're so good in lying to themselves. It's unbelievable. Right? To convincing themselves in something that they decided to. So first come what? First come will to do something, then comes thought, right? And then comes action, right? Will, desire, thought, and action, like this. Okay. Continue. Furthermore, when making such a condition, it is applicable to all Maaser separation and does not have to be renewed each time one set aside a Maaser. Meaning, one time you made the stipulation, meaning if person in tight situation with money and he wants to do a non-obligatory mitzvah, so I would be able to, but as we said, no more than 50%. Okay, so you must it's enough to do it only one time and that's it. You don't have to do it every time. Same if you did not make any stipulation. So if you did not, for example, I never made any stipulation. I just give, right? So in this case, I would not be allowed to use it for a non-obligatory mitzvah. Okay, unless, as we said, the person is a poor person. Continue. One must also keep in mind that even if this initial acceptance of Maaser, he did so on a condition that he will be allowed to use those funds for a mitzvah. One may do so only for a non-obligatory mitzvahs. However, one is not permitted to use Maaser money for obligatory mitzvah, even if such a condition made. So that's the whole 6 lines in bold. So let's read it again, and we're going to explain. I think we said it, but again. One must always keep in mind that even if his initial acceptance of Maaser, he did so on condition that will be allowed to use the funds for the mitzvah. Meaning, let's say, person did not know until today. So tomorrow he's going to cancel his vows, right? And from now on, not from the money he already has or she already has, but from future earnings. So they say if I need some money for a non-obligatory mitzvah, so I want to use, as we said, like no more than 50%. Okay. So one may do so only non-obligatory mitzvah. So he repeated 7 times. Like if it's you must do it, you must do it. Like right, you cannot do one mitzvah in expense of the other. However, one is not permitted to use Maaser money for obligatory mitzvah, even such a conditions are made. So, meaning you give out your Maaser, and then if you blessed, right, Hashem gives you money, you're going to do. If not, so you're patur, you absolved from the mitzvah. Why? Because you did not have money, right? So, but many people they so good in lying to themselves. Like if you put them in that situation, so okay, so you're not going to have tefillin, and now they start like thinking about it. So now I have savings my uncle gave me this, and whoa, now you have money. Like 7 minutes ago, you did not have any money. You were right. So that's people are people. Any questions before we continue? Okay, so let's continue. So next one is C, Hidur Mitzvah. So the enhancement of the mitzvah. So meaning there is a mitzvah, there is a basic, and Hidur has no boundaries basically. Even a situation where one stipulated use the Maaser funds to perform mitzvahs, there is dispute among the poskim whether one may use Maaser funds to pay for Hidur, enhancement of the mitzvah. For example, if a kosher esrog costs $40, and one finds nicer esrog for $70, may one pay the $30 difference from Maaser funds? Even according to those paskim who permits this, one may do so only on the condition that at the outset of his original acceptance of Maaser, he stipulated the use of Maaser funds for the mitzvah purposes. However, generally one should avoid using Maaser funds for enhancement of the mitzvah. So let's read it again, and we're going to explain. And it's actually, yeah, let's see, we're going to explain. Even in a situation when one stipulates to use Maaser, meaning the first case, that he can use the Maaser for not a non-obligation. So non-obligation meaning, as he gives example here, yes, I can buy a stroke for $40, right? But I can buy a nicer one for $70. Okay, so that's the story. So I can perform with $40, but I'd like to beautify my mitzvah. So it's very interesting, right? So one second. So can he take this difference, the $30 from Maaser funds? Even according to those paskim who permit this, one may do so only on condition that the outset of his original acceptance of Maaser, he stipulated to use his Maaser funds for the mitzvah purposes. Of course, it's not obligatory. So obligation was in this case $40, right? He could have fulfilled the mitzvah, but non-obligation, the story is not obligation. It's like extra. Okay, so again, if he had this stipulation, no problem. But again, if a person has money, don't do that. However, generally one should avoid using Maaser funds for the enhancement of the mitzvah. Okay. So again, if you have money, it's absolutely forbidden. But in this case, I mean, the way I see it, this esrog, if for $40 is kosher esrog, but if I send this poor person $30, they can do a lot. They can do a lot. You understand? So, and maybe the whole family is going to eat for the whole day. So it's me having this extra esrog, beautiful esrog, take money from Maaser. If it's my personal money, there's no problem. It's nobody should care. Right? I can spend $1,000 if I want, right? But take it from Maaser, from poor people. That's the way I see it. So I would not do it. Okay. Continue. So next one. Any questions, or we continue? Well, it's straightforward. Okay. So next one is D. Self-imposed obligation. A person who voluntarily accepted upon himself to help someone is permitted to use Maaser money if at the time of the acceptance that was his intention. For example, if one child became engaged to be married and the father wanted to help the young couple to learn in cholent by giving them a few $100s a month, he would be permitted to use Maaser funds for this obligation, provided he had that in mind at the time he accepted the obligation. If one did this, he would not have to inform the child that he's using Maaser money. However, if one obligated himself for something and later decided to use his Maaser money to pay for that obligation, he would be prohibited from doing so, since at the time he accepted upon himself, it became an obligation, and one may not pay off his debt with Maaser. So that's very interesting. We're going to explain. Therefore, if one obligated himself to support a child who is learning, and at the time of his obligation did not intend to use Maaser funds, and now finds it difficult to help that child without use of Maaser, he is not permitted to do so. Okay, so let's do this piece again, and we're going to explain. Again, a person who voluntarily accepted upon himself to help someone is permitted to use Maaser money. At the time of acceptance of this acceptance, that was his intention. So again, I guess even if it was not his intention, and now the situation is on the horizon, so go and cancel your neder, right? That like this stipulation about Maaser, I would say it's the simplest and straightforward way to do Hataras Nidarim. You just need 3 kosher people who, the 3 Jews who observe Torah and Mitzvahs. They don't have to be like anybody special, right? Simple Jews that observe. That's it, right? So there is special formula. You cancel this specific neder, and right away before you forget, because it would be not smart to forget. So you make yourself like stipulation. Yes, I want to accept tzedakah upon myself, this Maaser, but I also want to use this money for non-obligatory mitzvah, for example, to support Torah. Who is this? Who I'm going to support? My child. So technically, after, as we said, 6 years old, a parent is not obligated to support. Okay, maybe they say maybe until 13, and then rabbinical, and then the sages ask, please don't throw them out of the house until they actually like self-sufficient. Okay, no problem. But now he got married, so for sure he's self-sufficient. For sure, he's a person is independent. For sure, I'm not obligated to do anything for that person, even though he's my son. But it is he's going to learn Torah, so I'm going to pay for his Torah learning. So that's absolutely allowed, right? If you have this intention. Okay, and you're not obligated. Remember, there is no such obligation. Okay. Right? Okay, continue. So I'm going to skip whatever we explained and continue. If one did this, he would not have informed the child that he is using Maaser funds. I'm not sure. Okay, we're going to see why we need to tell the child anyway. But so far, I mean, you just give the money. They should not care where the money is coming from. Okay. However, if one obligated himself for something, and later decided to use Maaser money to pay for that obligation, he would be prohibited from doing so. So that's very interesting concept. So if he started to support his children very generously, and then see that it's not enough, right? Maybe for other children, I don't know, it's not enough, right? So now he wants to dip a little into this Maaser. They say you cannot do that, and it's very interesting. Why? As soon as you obligated yourself to give somebody, so you're like in debt. It's very interesting. And you're not allowed to pay off your debt with Maaser funds, as the one before. Just 1 second. Therefore, if one is obligated himself to support child who is learning, and at the time of obligation did not intend to use Maaser funds, and now finds difficult to help child without the use of Maaser, he is not permitted to do so. Okay. Okay, so next one, so continue. Below are the examples of this concept. A. Aliyahs. If one wants to purchase aliyah or similar honor using his Maaser funds, he is permitted to do so, provided he meets 2 conditions. Number 1, in his original acceptance, the Maaser, he made the condition to use Maaser funds for performance of the mitzvahs. And I think some people just automatically think that they can use this money because it's a mitzvah. No, it's opposite issue, right? So okay. So before we continue, Aliyah meaning to be called to the Torah, and then some shuls they sell every Shabbos they sell all the Aliyahs. Okay, so I mean that's how they support the synagogue. Okay. Right, so first condition that he had to have this in mind, like when he was accepting the Maaser obligation. Again, if you want to do it, just cancel, and it's actually exactly the same condition. So you do for one, and everything is included. And second condition, the time of the purchasing the Aliyah, he has in mind the use Maaser funds. Okay, so first condition is that person must have this condition his Maaser obligation to use his Maaser, right, for non-obligatory aliyah. So because there is no such obligation to be called to the Torah, right? There is no such obligation. I mean, if it's a lot of people, like I was praying once in a shul. In Israel, maybe 600 people, I don't know, a lot. So many people. So go get Aliyah in that place. Good luck. You understand? So like they give it to Rabbi, of course. You must give it to Rabbi, somebody else, his son, this and that. And there's no Aliyah. I mean that we're not obligated. Okay. However, if the money is going to help a poor person or institution that supports Torah, one would be permitted to use Maaser provided he meets the second condition. So I'm not sure. Maybe this is yeshiva, I guess. And you want to pray in yeshiva, and they're going to all of this proceeds from Aliyah. They're going to use to support yeshiva. That would be great. That's not a problem. Next one, B Mishebarach. Similarly, at the time one gets Aliyah, he makes Mishebarach and donates some money to the shul. He may use his Maaser money only if he had intention doing so at this time. So Mishebarach is the blessing for the family, for this, for that. So you give them names, and they give you there is standard text of the blessing. Okay, so sometimes in some shuls they ask how much you want to donate, right? And they pause for you to and everybody's listening how much you're going to say. It's very pressing situation, right? So out of embarrassment, people give more than they were planning to, right? It's very interesting. In shul where I go, they don't charge anything for aliyahs, even on Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, which is unusual, and they don't charge any money for Mishaberach. They're not going to ask. That's a policy of the shul. I mean, but many would ask. I mean, shul needs to exist, but here they collect some other ways. Of course, not as much, but they do. So what the policy is not to embarrass somebody. If somebody does not have, so they would call anybody. Whatever this guy wants, and he has money, he would bring. Don't have money, don't bring. Okay. So C is kaparos. When one performs the Micha kaparos before Yom Kippur, one should not use Maaser funds. Since kaparos is something that everybody does, it is considered like an obligation, choveh, and one may not use the Maaser funds to pay off the obligation. Right? So okay. So before the Yom Kippur, we have this mincha kaparos, some do with the chicken, right? With the rooster, men with the rooster, women with the chicken, right? If she's pregnant, so she takes, I think 3 chickens, right? One for her, for herself a chicken, then a rooster and a chicken, maybe because we don't know the gender of the baby, right? Very interesting, right? So this, since everybody does it, some people do it with fish, and some people do it with money. So we're doing it with money. It's very smelly, like in this place where you do with the chicken. Chicken goes to the bathroom because like the people swing them around their heads, like. So it's very interesting. Okay, so these funds you cannot take it from Maaser because it's like obligation. Why? Because everybody is doing this. Continue, purchase some Sefarim. Right, that's also a big misunderstanding. So some people think that just because it is a holy books and right, I can buy it. Absolutely not. I mean, if you're going to give somebody to read, yes, somebody who cannot afford, yes, that's the thing. Or but if you're going to give somebody as a gift, but person is able to afford, and there is no like you cannot use Maaser funds. Okay, but let's see. In past generations, it was very difficult to obtain Sefarim from which to learn. One who had Sefarim would often lend them to others, thus fulfilling the mitzvah of Chesed. The poskim who permitted the use of Maaser funds for this mitzvah purpose allowed one to use Maaser money to buy Sefarim so he could learn from them and also lend to others. Right, so it's very interesting. So in olden days, there were like books are very rare. They cost a lot of money, and many people could not afford. So like usually, if you go to the shul, like why many people learn only in the shul? Because you don't have books in home. Of course, you have Siddur maybe at home, but not always. Not everybody. Chumash maybe, right? So but other books you go to shul. Very interesting. So this person was permitted. I mean, everybody were permitted to buy the books using Maaser money, learn themselves and lend to others. So the key words is lend to others because it's chesed, right? So that's the condition. One who did this would have to write on a Sefarim that they were purchased with Maaser funds. So one's children would not take them for themselves. Right, it's very interesting. So he said, this is not mine. So he's saying basically, I'm working like a library, right? I'm going to take care of these books, and if you need, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to store it in my room. But that's it. Those are not my books. I just purchased it, but they're going to stay in my house, and whoever needs can come and take it. Right, so and so after his death, so his children would not take it. Okay, because it's not theirs. They would give to some public causes, to synagogue or something. According to the most poskim, one would even able to keep the Sefarim in one's home. Okay, right? He said according to the most poskim, not everybody. Okay, but. Most poskim, yeah. So, but it has to be like open door policy or something. Like people can come and borrow, not that you give them like a half an hour window on Wednesday afternoon. That's it. So it's not going to work. So it must be like accessible. Baruch Hashem. Nowadays we live in a time when Sefarim are readily available to anyone who needs them, and it is not customary to lend Sefarim on a regular basis. Yeah, from time to time, maybe somebody does not want to buy the whole Sefer because he needs to learn some chapter, right? So he would want to borrow from you, but otherwise people have their own books usually. Therefore, one should not use the Maaser funds to buy Sefarim. Of course, one is permitted to use Maaser funds to buy Sefarim for yeshivas. So that's a totally different story, right? For sure, shuls or other institutions where learning takes place, as also constituted Chazakah Torah, support of the Torah. And that's a difference, right? Right? You buy it for shul, you buy it for yeshiva. I'm not sure. He said different organization. Maybe Kirov organization, maybe like this. Yeah. Okay. Any questions? Or we continue. Let's quickly check time. Okay, wow. Okay, so we're going to stop here. Time flew very fast. So next topic is the biggest misunderstanding that we have. It's supporting children, right? Are you allowed to pay your children yeshiva education from this money? So usually it's the biggest expense. Tefillin is one time in your life, and I mean hopefully one time, and that's it. Or other things they're not as expensive compared to children's education that you have to pay every month, and a lot. Okay. Any questions? Or we can do any topic if you want. No, not, I apologize. Not any topic if you have on a Maaser topic. No? Okay, no problem. So we continue with our book that we started some time ago, 2 classes ago. Now the name is Halachos of Yichud. Right. Here we go. 1 second. So we go into section B. Let me just say what is the topic. So it's still introduction of Yichud. So we go first we say what is Yichud, parameters of the Yichud seclusion. Right, Yichud includes state of privacy. Right, examples, Yichud separation in a room, etc. Okay, so now we're going to next section B. The topic is the source of the laws of Yichud. Okay. According to most poskim, Yichud is forbidden midaraisa. Right? Midaraisa meaning on a Torah level. Although there is also some there are also some forms of rabbinically forbidden Yichud, but it's always like that, as we said many times. Rabbis were commanded by Hashem to build fences around the biblical prohibition. Okay. The Gemara cites a passage in the Torah that the source of the Yichud prohibition, which reads partially as follows: if your brother, the son of your mother, will entice you in privacy to commit sin of idolatry. Right, it's actually from Dvarim, I think. Okay. Right, so meaning again, if your brother, the son of your mother, so meaning you have different fathers, right, but the same mother, okay, will entice you in privacy to commit the sin of idolatry. Okay. In truth, the plain meaning of the verse in Dvarim is not referring to Yichud at all, but rather to a different, unrelated sin that is conspiring in seclusion to commit avodah zarah, idolatry, which is a guilty party would be typically do covertly in seclusion, similar to Yichud, right? So of course, I mean, just reading that verse, the verse is very like straightforward. So it's talking about idolatry, but the end result, since when they do this illicit acts, they would be like in seclusion. And here also avodah zarah, they want to do in seclusion, so nobody would know about them. Okay. However, the commentaries explain that based upon the Talmud exegesis of the text, the theme of this passage refers to any seclusion for arayas, immoral purposes as well. So meaning the straightforward understanding like pshat stays the same, meaning it is about seclusion with intention to commit idolatry, but also for arayas, which is all of the immoral behavior. Okay. A. The seclusive circle of 4 men and a woman exempt from Yichud. Okay. Exclusive circle of 4 men and women exempt from Yichud. Okay. So we'll see. On this basis of the previously cited verse, the Chazal deduced the following general rule: a man is permitted to be secluded with a mother but is forbidden to be in Yichud with any other Arayas level women. Women with whom consortium is forbidden. Okay, so let's do it again, and we're going to explain. So it's 4 women. It's a mother and daughter, of course. I mean, we can be your daughter, granddaughter, I guess, right? And granddaughter, who's number 4? I guess your grandmother. Or sister. Okay. Even though sister, we would say rabbinically, we had this discussion, like our sages say, if it's for a long time, don't be there. Okay. So one more time. On the basis of the previously cited verse, Chazal deduced the following rule: a man is permitted to be secluded with his mother, but forbidden to be in Yichud with any other Arayas level women. Right, so mother is an exception, and sister, daughter, like, because it's very close. There is a woman with whom consortium is forbidden. Okay. In practice, there are only 4 women with whom a man may be in Yichud unconditionally. So here we go. Number 1, his mother. Right, so there's no special conditions, meaning that somebody else has a key, somebody else can come in at any time. So all of these conditions, right? As we said last time. So his mother, grandmother, great-grandmother. Okay, so this is in category of his mother. Mother, grandmother, great-grandmother. Number 2, daughter. And in this situation is also granddaughter, a great-granddaughter. Okay. Number 3, sister. For brief periods. See chapter 2, B and C. Okay. So as we say, sister, because we know that it's dangerous. Okay. So from brief periods, yes, but stay together. So we had this issue, and when a sister had, like, she got divorced and she was depressed and she needed to move somewhere, and the guy said, and the guy was smart, he asked is it allowed to live with your sister? He said, absolutely not. I mean, if she needs for a week to stay and find the next apartment, yes, but otherwise no, like long term, no. And next one, wife. Oh, we forgot about wife. No. So it says, see chapter 2, okay. So one more time, it's mother, including grandmother, great-grandmother, okay. Daughter, granddaughter, great-granddaughter. Okay, so far so good. So then we say sister only for a brief period, as he said, and wife. Okay. So again, no special conditions. Conversely, there are only 4 men with whom a woman may be in Yichud unconditionally. Number 1, her father, grandfather, great-grandfather. Even though we know sometimes, unfortunately, these sick people also, there are stories with the grandfather taking advantage of granddaughters, unfortunately. Number 2, son, right? So a woman can be with father, with a son, of course, grandson, great-grandson. Number 3, brother, again, for a brief period. And number 4, husband. Okay. So of course, as we said in the beginning, it's only introduction, and he gives. I skip this. He gives future references when we're going to learn in details. Just so you know, it's only one halacha. It's one volume. This halacha have two volumes. Okay. So continue. In present circumstances. And in a consultation with Rav, 2 additional relatives can be included in this circle in double quotes. Number 1, one's aunt, there is a mother's sister, and number 2, one's aunt, there is a father's sister. Okay. So in the present circumstances, it must be very, very present circumstances. And to get this permission, you have to go to a rabbi who knows the laws and who would ask you a bunch of questions to determine whether to determine the danger level or something. Okay, so again, one's aunt. So we're talking about guy, right? So he can be with his aunt, right? I mean, she can live in his house, or he can live in her house. Let's say, I mean, she's a widow and she needs somebody to help her around, or I don't know, buy her grocery. Just be there because she's scared to be at home. And this guy is, I don't know, he's learning and he's cannot afford rent himself. And she said, live rent free. Right? I mean, I'm going to cook for you. Right? So, okay. So let's see. So one's aunt on the mother's side and aunt on the father's side. Also, conversely, a woman's nephew, right? There is her sister's son, and a woman's nephew on a brother's son. Okay. Okay. So of course, and he said we're going to explain this further. So for a man, somebody who is older than him, meaning on his mother's level, meaning right, mother's sister or the father's sister. And for a woman, again, there's exceptions, so that depends on the age and everything, right? Her nephew from her sister's side or her brother's side. Okay, continue. All these fall under the general category of various level of women, with whom Yichud is forbidden in Halacha. Okay, so let's see. Just 1 second. Okay, let's do a little more. So it says Yichud is a common halakhic issue, yet also solvable. Okay, problem. Okay, halakhic these questions of Yichud are more common than people realize. Nevertheless, actual transgression of Yichud can usually be avoided with little or no inconvenience, provided that one is familiar with the basic premise of this halacha. So as we said before, when a person asks the question, it means the person has knowledge, right? The person who has no knowledge, like they do not know what to ask. Some people say, no, it's forbidden. I say, absolutely not. It's not forbidden. It's forbidden. We had a conversation with somebody, said the person is said matter of fact, that is forbidden. I said, absolutely not. Under certain conditions it's forbidden, but otherwise it is permitted, right? So meaning you need to learn to know. Following the common Yichud situations, some of which are forbidden and some of the permissible or at least solvable, meaning there is like the way around. Okay. So let's start. And we had these questions, I think, in a class before. I mean, I don't remember, but some time ago. Babysitting. Teenage girls babysitting for a boy 9 years old or older, right? So meaning, so halachically speaking, so this 9 years old boy is fit to have relationships. Right? Before 9 he's not, right? But 9 and older he is fit. So if he had relations with somebody, intimate relations, so this is considered to be relations. If a boy was below age of 9, so they're not considered to be relations, right? So that's why he said so. And she's a teenage girl, or she's 15, 16 herself, right? So she needs money. She works, okay, babysits. However, can be permissible under certain conditions. For example, unlocked door by day or presence of other siblings. Okay, so I mean, if you one boy, it would be a little problematic. But if door is always open and some people can come, maybe other neighbors can drop in at any time. There is no then it would be no problem. Okay. Continue. Teenage girls, or sometimes today people they put cameras everywhere, right? In their own house, and they can see what's going on. Okay. So continue. A teenage girl babysitting the infant niece with a brother-in-law home alone. However, permissible under some conditions. See chapter this and that. So okay. So one more time. Teenage girl, said the infant niece, with brother-in-law in home. That's a problem. That's a big problem. Okay. Next one. Man driving babysitter home at night. Right. So she had to work over. Right. Stay over. It's dark, and for him it takes I don't know 15 minutes to drive her. If she's going to take a bus, it's going to take her an hour. She's doing a favor as it is, right? It's a very good question, right? So, but it's night, it's dark outside. Okay. However, some poskim permit this even late at night, if the inferior light in the car is switched on while driving, interior light. So meaning. I think you can get a ticket if you are like, it's very annoying if you do that, like somebody's driving in the back, because this light, interior light, they would reflect in this rear view mirror, right? So it would like blind people behind you, but technically if you maybe turn on one light or something, so it would be light inside of your car, so people would see what's going on inside. Okay, so that's, I mean, he said many references in several chapters, right? Okay, so continue. So we're just going over, like we're trying to get overview of possible questions. We're not going to solution yet, but just raising the questions. Next one, household situations. A man at home alone, while with his cleaning help, there is a maid. Is cleaning the house. However, this can be permissible during the day in most cases if door are unlocked. Right. So I know my Havrusa have this clean lady. So he goes somewhere else. Okay, somewhere else. They told her when to come, and he goes to somewhere else if his wife is not home. Okay. He goes outside or something, but technically if doors are unlocked and somebody can come in anytime, there is no problem, but we're trying to avoid all of this. Okay, so next one, man's mother-in-law staying overnight to help while his wife is in a hospital with a newborn. That's a big one. Usually not permissible unless other older sibling, at least 5-6 years old, are at home. Right, so, and it's very possible, right? Some wife is in the hospital with a newborn, right? Man at home, and her wife came and to help around, right? So she's going to stay for a week or whatever, 5 days or whatever days, right? That's for sure it's a problem, unless there is some like this relations for sure it's this Yichud for sure is forbidden. So we need someone even a child, as we said, 5-6 years old would suffice. Okay, next one. Girl studying in a friend's house at night with only her father or grown brother at home. Permissible only until late hour when people are retired to bed. Okay. However, even this should be avoided. Meaning, right? So she's in a friend's house, and there is only a brother, only one more man, basically. Okay. Issues. Sorry, but he said permissible only until the late hour when people go retire to bed. Meaning there is nobody in the street, nobody like would come over and stuff like that. Next one is travel. Women and girls on a bus with only a male driver. Permissible on a city licensed school buses, but must be avoided at late evening hours. Okay, so okay, continue. Women and girls in a taxi driven by men. That's very popular, right? They have Uber here, so it's not attire, like something like a car service. Okay, but these cursors usually it's a shorter distance, and usually they go like on very lit streets. It's not like back alley or something. Okay. Permissible with a licensed taxi drive during the day, but should be avoided at very late evening hours. Okay. Continue. Next one. Men driving on a country road at night with female passengers. So country road meaning they mean like to say there are not too many people. Maybe one car passes in 45 minutes or so. Forbidden with one or two women, even at the daytime hours. So 2 women and 1 man, that's a problem. With 3 or 4 women, questionable. Right? So 2 women, problem. Right? Forbidden with 2 men, even the daytime hours, meaning it is seclusion. So I guess maybe I said 45 minutes, maybe not even so. So people are ready to go there. Okay. Okay, with 3 women, questionable. Continue. Women, a woman/girl, travel on a small commuter plane with only male pilot and male crew/passengers on board. Forbidden unless the trip is an emergency. For example, matter of health or safety. Otherwise, she must take another flight, meaning with other people. Right? So, however, if there are 2 or 3 other women on board, the trip is permitted, even if all of them non-Jewish. Okay. Any questions before we continue? I mean, here we're just asking like a general introduction, but
Rabbi?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, a few questions about this topic. First one says, we have a question about Yichud. Regarding the 4 types of people allowed for seclusion unconditionally, but if the woman involved is dressing quite immodestly, for example, if for relatively short time seclusion, the sister is dressing extremely immodestly, is this still allowed?
No, I would say no. I mean, because she's provoking him. That's why even it says in a sister only for short period of time. But we're talking about normal situation. If she behaves like that, there is no permission. So I mean, we said under like perfect situation, she loves your brother, she cooks for him, this and that, that's it, perfect, like a normal situation. But here, like when she's like provoking him, absolutely not. Okay, continue. No, go ahead. Yeah, go.
On the subject of Yichud and visiting non-kosher restaurants, is it forbidden to visit a public cafe if, though it was founded by a Jew, they serve a few non-kosher items? Considering, as a single man, there may be situations in which the store is vacated and left with just the female workers in this public cafe.
I mean, I think there are a few questions. Okay, let's leave this question for a little later because it's a little off the topic, but we're going to explain. Do we have anything on what we said so far? Okay, so let's leave that question. I think we can split it in a few parts. Okay, let's do a little more and we stop. So it says employment. Woman/woman in the office alone with a male woman/women in the office alone with the male co-workers at night. Not usually permissible unless outside intrusion is expected. Right? Meaning when like somebody can come in anytime. So I guess in my office after some time, a few times I had to stay very, very late because of the issues there at work. But all the cleaning ladies, they come, I don't know, like after 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, when everybody goes home, then they do their work. Otherwise, I mean, if they're going to make a noise and some people still working, that's not Not good, of course. They would bother, so they come late. They work at night shift. So I guess that would be more or less safe, unless you know that this clean lady already cleaned your floor and she left. That's it. She's not going to come back. That would be an issue. A woman realtor appraised in private home along with the male owner, permissible only in some circumstances. See volume 2. Wow. Right, so she would come, look, before bringing customers. Of course, there's nobody home. Right? Maybe even nobody knows that she's there also. Next one is repairman. A repairman working in a house when only a woman or a girl in a home. Right? As we said before, we had this guy. He's not joining us any longer. He is a cable guy or something right. So that's the problem. If reputable, he may usually be allowed inside. Okay. Usually allowed inside. Okay. Next one, allowing meter reader to enter indoors when only a woman or a girls are at home. If he is officially has official credential, he may usually allowed inside. So meaning that he said official credential, this taxi drivers with license, meaning that they would be afraid to lose their license. Like this meter readers, he's actually paid very well with a very good pension plan. So now, unless he's completely stupid, he's not going to do something wrong. That's the idea. And same with the taxi driver. Okay, if he does something, they can take away his license. I mean, for a taxi license, big issue. Next one is a shidduch / engagement. Couples on a date or who are engaged, husband and Kala, hiking woods, driving alone at night on the deserted country road, forbidden under Yichud midaraisa. So meaning forbidden under biblical Yichud. Why? Because they feel very comfortable, with each other. Because guess what? We're going to get married in 1 month. So why don't we, before getting married, let's to know each other a little better. Let's go hike. Absolutely not. Right? So somebody asked me can I go? What is it? Horseback riding? I said, why do you need the horseback riding? Okay, if you're on a date, so go talk. Go walk in the park when there are many people. Why do you need the horseback riding? People do different things. A couple on a date, or who are engaged in strolling in a secluded area of a park, or canoeing in a distant section of the lake. That's the problem. A couple on a date. So it's better, as we said, on a date, be presentable, sit on a bench or something, go some public place. So usually they go into a hotel lobby. That's the best place to be. Right? Hotel lobby, people go in and out. So for sure it's a public place, for sure. Of course, maybe you sit somewhere on the side, but anyway, there are people who see you. Okay. But couple on a date engaged in strolling in secluded area of the park, absolutely not. Or canoeing, right? But even to get to this park, even to get to canoeing, you have to drive in this. Usually it's not in the city, so you have to go. I mean, sometimes it is, but most of the time it's not. So it's going to be all of this on village roads. Okay. Next one, entertainment. Riding to along a ski lift chair at night, or when there is the other riders are distantly spaced. Entertainment, riding to alone on a ski lift chair at night. So I see we had this issue. question. So I did not know. So it looks like, I mean, based on this, looks like you can ski at night as well. I mean, there is no problem if they put on lights. Maybe there is no problem whatsoever. Projectors, I mean, right? So what's the problem? So riding right on the ski lift, or when other riders distantly spaced. Okay, we're almost done. So hiking alone in secluded area of the park, mountain cave. Ooh, wow. Forbidden under Yichud Midaraisa. Right? It's hiking alone, meaning there are not too many people there. If you go on a weekday, maybe nobody's there, right? Or maybe in secluded area of the park, most likely nobody is going to show up there, right? Mountain and caves. So this is Midaraisa. Next one, boating, two alone in the river, or in secluded area of the lake, as we said before, like there's nobody there. Forbidden under Yichud Midaraisa. Next one, right, the boat on the river or lake. Okay, riding in a hot air balloon. For example, girls with a sole male balloon, balloonist. So okay, so girl or S with the girls with a sole male balloonist. So meaning the driver of this balloon. Very interesting. At high altitudes. Can be Yichud because the occupants are not visible from the ground. Okay. For sure it is seclusion, not visible from the ground. Continue. Elevator stairways. A woman alone with a man, or a man alone with a woman, in an elevator, permissible under most but not all conditions. Okay. Conditions. So I mean, me personally, where I worked, like we had maybe 6 elevators because it's tall building. So I would not go I would never go to elevator with a woman, even though there is no problem. But when going up, it never stops, for sure, never stops. Right? I mean, it stops only when if you press, for example, you press number 7, number 11, and it's going to stop there. But if somebody who is going like up, no, somebody who is going, okay, forget it. So okay, I would never go. Okay, I would say no, I'm waiting for somebody. You go, no problem. That's it. A man alone with a woman in apartment stairways. Permissible during hours when used by people. Can be Yichud if not frequented. So meaning this like fire escape exit. And that is stairways. So usually people don't use them, right? In my office where I used to work, that's what I used. Like nobody's there. I mean, some people who like to walk, so it was my exercise. I would walk down the stairs. Nobody there. Okay. However, in a hidden space beneath the stairs is Yichud. Okay, beneath the stairs. Okay. Borders. Seminary students bordering with a young couple can be permissible under most conditions, but should nevertheless be avoided. Meaning, some yeshiva they single, some of them married. Right? That's the case. So, or no. Some married. So how did they get with another girl? Right. That's the issue. Seminary students. Okay. So no. So maybe she got this place. His wife got this place, right? From the seminary. Some of the girls singles. Okay. Male guest boarder in a house while host daughter is at home alone. Okay, so that's Yichud. May be allowed under certain conditions. Okay, we're going to see. Medical care. Female patient examined the male by female patient and examined by male doctor, gynecologist, usually permitted if female doctor is equal competence not available. So of course, gynecologist. So if you have a lady, but you have to go to lady, of course. if it's same expertise. But usually the way I understand what people are saying, I'm just repeating the man is the best. Not even compare. I'm not sure why it should be so, but that's what people are saying. Okay. Male therapist counseling a female patient in his office are permissible only under limited conditions, meaning if somebody else is there. Next one, woman therapist counseling male patient in her office, permissible only under limited conditions. Okay, so we can stop here. We're just asking questions. Okay, so let's see if we have any questions on what we said, and then we go to that situation. It's very interesting. Okay, go ahead, please. Yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you for the Shiur question. The small passenger plane in the small passenger plane situation, is there an age requirement for the 3 women minimum? For example, if all the other men are on board with their very young, say 3 or 5-year-old daughters, would it be permissible for a woman to board the plane?
3 or 5, I guess 3 is too young, but 5 or 6 it would be like something like that. They would understand what's going on, right? So meaning that adults would be afraid that these people, these kids are going to repeat what they saw. That's the thing.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So, and there's another couple questions about Yichud, but in general terms, and one of them is the one that God told me to save for later.
Okay, so let's start from that. Yeah, let's start from that, please.
Okay, so on the subject of Yichud and visiting non-kosher restaurants, is it forbidden to visit a public cafe if, though it was founded by a Jew, they serve a few non-kosher items?
What is the connection? Visiting non-kosher restaurants and Yichud? I mean, those two separate things. So I'm just trying to understand if person can please clarify. You're not allowed to go to this cafe, right, or restaurant, whatever, because even though there is some kosher foods, for example, it would be like muddy sign. It was people think that you ate there, unless you bought a bottle of water, right, and you come out with a bottle of water in your hands and everybody see that, or you bought like a can of soda and you come out with a can of soda with a straw, so everybody see that's the reason you came to the store, most likely, right? But otherwise there is no permission for us to go there, right? Even if you need to the restaurant, so try to find something else, right? So please continue. So then I'm trying to understand how Yichud get to mix up with the non-kosher food. But okay, go ahead.
So then it goes, considering as a single man, there may be situations in which the store is vacated and left with just the female workers in this public cafe.
Okay, so in general, so let's put this aside, this point about being non-kosher. So if it's a kosher place, let's say, if it's a kosher place and there are only like only 2 people, or only two ladies are working. So since it is a public, since it's open, anybody can come in and order, so that there is no problem whatsoever. If they lock the door and say, you know what, Mister, okay, finish your dinner, whatever, but we're going to clean up, and they put down the gate or something, that's would be an issue, for sure. But if if it's open, they have huge windows, people on the street passing by, and they start cleaning, there is no problem. Understand? So I think that there's two separate issues, unless somebody would tell me what is the connection between being non-kosher and Yichud. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question. Hypothetical situation. Is it permitted to kiss a person's brother or sister on the cheek if you are over 18 years old and one of the siblings is a Noahide and the other one is an idolater? Furthermore, can these two brother and sister live under the same roof?
Okay, so I would ask you to do it again, please. Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. So, hypothetical situation. Is it permitted to kiss a person's brother or sister on the cheek?
No, the answer is absolutely not. Okay, continue. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. So on the cheek, if you are over 18 years old, and one of the siblings is a Noahide and the other one is an idolater. Furthermore,
this all irrelevant. I mean, is it proper for non-Jews to kiss each other on the cheek? I don't know. That's a different story. I would say for sure I do not know. But if a Jew, for example, somebody converted or something, no, we're not. First of all, we're not related, and the laws of Yichud actually apply very, very strongly to a person, like to brother and sister, even to mother. Right, so of course we will find some leniency. So after a person converted, so they are allowed to be with their mother, but it's not everybody agree because two separate people. But siblings for sure not allowed. So for example, she converted and brother said, no, please, I need a place to stay for 3 days. Absolutely not. Go find yourself a hotel. Right. Okay. So thank you. 1 second. So that doesn't matter. So no heights, idolaters. It's for us, it's irrelevant or forbidden. So even forget about kissing. We're not allowed to touch them. Right. So all these women, not to be secluded, not allowed to touch them, not to shake hands, not to do like if you need to handle something, it's proper just to put it down and let her take. That's it. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
I've already covered this remaining part of the question, but it says, furthermore, can these two brother and sister live under the same roof?
The answer is no. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Question, I wonder how immodesty could make permissible / non-Yichud situation prohibited. If the mother is immodest or partially clad, is the son allowed to be there? Would there be an age limit when it's allowed?
It's a very good question. I mean, there's two separate issues. I mean, as Yichud, there is as we said in the beginning of this class, it is unconditional. So meaning doesn't matter how she dressed. Is it what's it? What is the word? Is it problematic for this son to be there? Like if he's older than 5 years old? So absolutely, yeah. It is very problematic, right? It's very problematic. I mean, but not from the Yichud side, but because she's making him to waste seed. That's the issue. You're welcome.
So next question. For love, you're allowed to show physical affection like kissing and hugging to your brother or sister if you are both naturally born Jew. Now at what age should you stop? For example, a 13-year-old brother with a 13-year-old sister, or 20-year-old brother with a 14-year-old sister.
With the big no-no, even to touching your sister after she gets married. That's for sure. That's absolutely forbidden, even for short periods of time, because of it's a haram, right? But usually, don't hug. I mean, after maybe after bar mitzvah for sure, don't do it. Maybe even earlier. I would say earlier, but I'm not sure what he's going to say is halacha. So I don't want to.
Rabbi.
You're welcome.
I was wondering, would it be okay to show physical affection to those that are considered our mother, to like grandmother, great-grandmother, mother, and so on?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There is no problem, but the issue would be if you have somebody adopted. That's the biggest issue. So because laws of Yichud apply to them, right? So the adopted little girl, she was 3 months old, let's say. She grew up in their house, but this her father, he's not her biological father. He's a stranger, so he's not allowed to be with her. You understand? And he's not allowed to hug her from any age, from age older than 3. You understand? That's a difficult situation. So how father is supposed to behave? How father, mother is no problem, but how father, all kids he's going to hug, but this little girl he's not going to hug. And of course people getting emotional, of course, and they hug this little girl, which is absolutely forbidden. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
I wonder if a mother is allowed to bring her young son to single-gendered beach. If so, until what age?
We'll see. I mean, from the age that they can understand, some maybe up to 2 years old, I guess, maybe up to 3, right? But usually there's Tznius on the beach, usually, right? There's usually no modesty. Okay, but still.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So, next question. If the mother is breastfeeding her babies, is her older children allowed to be there? If so, until what age?
Older, as soon as they understand, especially boys, they should not be there. Absolutely not. Yeah, as soon as they start to understand, maybe 4 years old, 3, 4 years old, 5 years old, yeah, they should not see it, absolutely.
Rabbi.
You're welcome.
On the subject of non-Yichud situation that can become prohibited if there is improper conduct. It has been said that Dinah was raped because she learned to be attracting from when her mother was often trying to be enticing. Is there a law derived from this non-Yichud situation of same-gender but immodest behavior? Should the parents avoid being enticing in front of their children?
Absolutely, that's 100%. Yes. Absolutely. I mean, Leib was did not behave improperly, so she was, as his expression, the Torah says, like a mother, like the daughter. So it's actually from after this story with Leah and Dinah, right? So that she went out, but but mother went out for a mitzvah, right? To greet her husband. So it's not comparable like her daughter, but I think the moral lesson to be learned that children are going to take the next the step further, mother went to greet her husband. Absolutely, it's amazing thing. But the daughter went to see what people, what girls of the nations are doing, what people of the nations are, just to see. Understand? So she did not want to go to movies, to theaters, just to walk the streets and see what's going on, right? And that's what happened. Right? So we have to be careful what message we send to our children and people around us. So maybe we did not mean that, but that's how they understood. Because somebody left us comment, and I said, please explain what do you mean. And the guy, very rude, he said, what I said is what I meant. And I said, it's not clear, please explain. And the guy said, you have to read, very rude, you have to read many times until you understood. Understand? So that's people like that in the world. So, right? Why? Because you have to explain yourself what exactly you're doing, why is it permissible, why is it not permissible. We have to explain ourselves, because people will draw wrong conclusion. Children or somebody close to us. Okay.
Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question for the last. Is a husband allowed to be in the presence of a wife who is breastfeeding if she is nida?
Yes, there is no problem. There's no problem. I mean, if it entices him, so he should not be there. Because if she's nida, so it depends. So usually after giving birth, the woman could be nida for several months, even sometimes 6 months. It depends how did it went, how did it go. You understand? Sometimes it's 9 months or so. As for shalom, some say 3 months. All women are different, but she can be nida for a long time. So if he going to see it, and it send him wrong messages, so it's better for him not to be there. Okay. You're welcome. But if she, I just want to add, but if she purifies herself and now she's nida itself, it's a continuous cycle, there is no problem, because she's going to be pure, allowed to him. It's only a matter of time, 5 days, 10 days, whatever is it, 2 weeks, doesn't matter. Okay.
Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Question for the last. Is a woman allowed to breastfeed in a room with holy books?
That's a very good question. I think technically yes. I think. But let's put it aside.
Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Is it advisable for a mother to recite Tehillim while she's breastfeeding her baby?
Yeah, there's no problem also. I mean, she's does not see, and it's for her, it's not nakedness, basically. She's allowed, yeah.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
I think we can jump to the questions that were put on the board before the class.
Okay.
There's galore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I wonder why Micha, the boy saved by Moshe Rabbeinu, did not get killed during the plague / punishment immediately after the sin of golden cup.
Because what he did is indirectly, and who said that he was worshipping the calves. So that's the answer, but let me explain the story, what person is asking. So we all on the same page. Micha is a boy who Moshe Rabbeinu saved because he thought he's more merciful than God. Right? So I mean, Hashem said, you know what? I do what you said, but it's not good. If Hashem said something that's good is not good, that's what we have to take. But Moshe Rabbeinu got too emotional. He said, please save it, doesn't matter what. And Micha had this, his thing, like a plate. I think it was metal plate, maybe gold plate, I don't remember. And on what Moshe wrote, arise, O bull, arise. Meaning when he was looking for Yosef, right? Like a casket of the Yosef. They bury him in the middle, like in the depth of the Nile River. So he said, how can I find? Like Nile is huge, very wide. Like how can I find? I'm not going to dive and inspect. It's a mission impossible, right? So he said whatever he said and throw this metal plate, gold plate, whatever was it, and the casket rose to the top, and he took it, meaning the bones of the Yosef, to Egypt, from Egypt to land of Israel. Right, and this Micha, little guy, he took this plate, and when these people were making, giving Aaron the gold, and Aaron, right, the Moshe's brother, he threw all the gold, right, and this Micha threw this plate when nobody saw, and that's how this bull came out. I think like simple calculation that Micha was not actually. I don't know. I don't want to say how old was he. Maybe doesn't matter how old was he when he was at that point. But what he did, he only threw the thing into the fire. Right? Did he say arise the bull arise? Maybe yes, maybe no. But does not mean that he worshipped the golden calf, right? And whatever he did is indirectly. You understand? So that's and plus it was made miraculously. So basically, he was not. So we cannot punish somebody for indirect actions. Right? So, for example, so in Torah says, if a bull is muad meaning born, meaning that he already killed several people, right? And people told him you have to watch your bull, and person, guess what? He did not watch it, and 3 people he warned, killed, and now 4th person. So it says that they have to kill the bull and kill him, and right, but him meaning the owner, but the owner did not do anything. Like no, there were no action taken. Maybe he was inactive, he was supposed to watch over his bull, but he did not do anything, right? So unless you read commentary, you think that Sanhedrin would put him to death. Absolutely not. So death from the hands of heaven. You understand? So why? Because it was inaction. So, and to get somebody death penalty, he must do something like active. Right? Unless there are some exceptions, but the only exception. So the Micha was not guilty, right, in a court of law.
Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Question. For the off, I wonder what books are considered holy books.
That's a good question. So all of the Tanakh, of course, it's holy books, but we actually extended to oral Torah. So oral Torah, this book, whatever we just read, it's oral Torah, for sure it's a holy book. What is maybe not so holy, like maybe more secular, if you have only stories, like, but still story of tzaddikim, if it's famous person, holy person, of course, I mean, his story is not separated from the Torah, and it's going to have, of course, like mentioned God. So, of course, it's not on the level of Sefarim, right? But but still there is some holiness in them. Some. Do you have to bury them? I don't think so, but right. I don't think so, but some people do. Or do they put it? Yeah, they put it in gniza. Okay. You're welcome.
Question. If you cook an unpeeled egg in a meat cholent, once you take it out, wash it, then peel it, would you be able to eat it with dairy?
No.
Is it considered a meat egg?
It is a meat egg. And how do we know? How do we know? Because even if it has shell, that's how in Gemara that they prove that shell is porous, right? So like, do you see any holes? Absolutely not. But when you cook in something, inside it's going to color the egg itself, right? Meaning that the egg absorbs the substance from outside. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question. Shabbos, if a bowl of apples fall on the ground inside, would you be allowed to put them back into the bowl, or is it me'amer? What if it's mixed fruits?
Okay, so let me explain first the question. So the question asks about Shabbos Melacha, which means gathering. So you're not allowed to gather like produce together. And they say, well, what is the gathering? How many pieces should be, right? At least 2 or 3, right? And pieces, and if they're very close together, but if they were very separate, there is no problem. You understand? And plus, since it just falls, there is no problem. So if it's, for example, if you know that apples fell from the apple tree before Shabbos, for sure you count. There are 7, 10 apples, right? So you would not be able, we would not be allowed to gather them together to bring home, right, on Shabbos itself. But you can take 2 apples, 3 apples for your family, no problem. I really need to eat. So of course that situation where I just gave, it's much stricter than with something that just the bowl just fell on Shabbos. Okay. You're welcome. Actually, apologize. It's opposite issue. Apologize. So it's if they close together, it's not considered a big gathering. So I guess this example was mix fruits, dry fruits and nuts. So if they in one place, there is not gathering. If it in all over the place, that would be gathering. It's opposite. Sorry. Go ahead. You're welcome.
Next question. It's Shabbat and it's pouring rain, and someone has to come home from shul. Number 1, if they are not in an eruv, would it be considered carrying the water in their clothing?
Mm-hmm. That's a very good question. No, it's not considered. It's not your intention, and you did not do anything to put yourself in that situation, right? So the example would be that somebody did put themselves in that situation is when somebody went swim in a river or something, or in a pool, right? Let's say there is a pool and it's surrounded by eruv. There is no problem with carrying, but or it is problem with carrying, right? So and he's not carrying anything. The person went with his bathing suit, right? So that would be a problem, carrying the water. right? Because person put himself in that situation. But in that case, no. You're welcome.
So then it says, number 2, would there be a concern on laundering the clothes? Say they do not have a raincoat.
So a laundry, the clothes, that's not what person meant, but it would be very important not to squeeze it. So laundry would start if you start squeezing it. If you just put it on a hanger, like to dry, like as a river or on a tub on a chair, just to dry, there is no problem whatsoever. Like you're not nobody planning to, for example, especially men, if you wet your jacket, most likely it's soon you would need to throw out. I mean, you can try. I mean, synthetic maybe they're going to survive, but if it was wool, it's dead. You understand? So of course, nobody's planning a laundry like that. So yeah, so careful when you take off, not to squeeze any water, right? And sometimes when your shoes are wet, so that's a famous question, right? When your shoes are wet, so the socks, right? Every time you step, you squeeze the water from a sock. I mean, right? It's a famous question, but we always say there is no problem. It's not your intention. It's your normal way of walking. You cannot walk like above the ground, so there is no problem. But is it squeezing? 100%. Right. Okay.
Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Question. How do we know the type of blossoming fruit trees for our region if it's not so obvious? What is the best way to find blossoming fruit trees in our area for brocha?
So if you live in the States, so there is you can always ask in a local shul. People have a list, or some people do on internet, on Facebooks, like communities Facebooks, and they tell you where is it. So for example, where I live, I know all of the trees. Not all of them, but I really told them I know where three trees are. That's more than enough. And I saw them that they bring fruits, so that's what it is. So I have to ask people, I guess.
Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Okay. I think we already covered all the questions from before the class.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to jump to the new ones. Hope I'm not skipping any question. I read from Torah stories that breastfeeding can affect the child spiritually a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, is it recommended for all women to breastfeed?
I mean, it is recommended, of course. I mean, that's yeah. But if she cannot for whatever reason, that's I mean, we're not going to force. We're not going to say that she's doing something wrong. And yeah, that's spiritual, absolutely. Breastfeeding is the best for a child, absolutely.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So what if she accidentally ate trafe or something like that? Should we be more careful in this case?
That's a good question. I think, I mean, if there is other food the child can eat, yeah. So I mean, she can skip several hours, I guess, maybe half a day, right? Of course, it depends how much is this tray for us. So we have to do like a thorough investigation. Was it trafe? Was it not trafe? was it acceptable, was on a biblical or a rabbinic level.
Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So on this question, or on this issue, if a baby refused to be breastfed by his own mother from day one, and throughout his life, his mother mentions this, I wouldn't say like constantly, but I don't know, more often than not, so would this be like indication that she's kind of looking for the kid, even if he's grown out, to ask for forgiveness or something like that? Or?
Say again, I didn't get the question. So I got the beginning. So the child refuses. Then what?
Then he grows up. I don't know. He's an adult, full-grown adult.
Okay.
And throughout his life, his mother mentioned this issue several times.
No, that's
without him asking for it. She would, okay, you remember this? You remember? Oh, do you know that you refused to be breastfed and this and that? So, and I don't know if I am mistaken or not, but I kind of heard Rabbi mention that this is something that affects directly the relationship between mother and son. So I was wondering, should the full-grown up adult son do something about this?
I mean, what he can do? What's done is done. Like, he was a little baby, so to blame him, whatever he was doing, like when he was I don't know, 2 months old, like, I'm not sure. It's a sick mother in some sense. I mean, there's not much that you can do now. Like, what are you expecting people to do? Just feel bad for you? Like, it's not normal. See, that's I just want to say that's the problem of people not learning Torah. So for how long we learn it, like 2 hours, we cover so many topics. So you can start discussing it today just from information, even just from the questions. Like finish 2 weeks from now, just in 2 hours. But when people have an empty life and then watch the news or whatever they watch TV or something, they have an empty life. They have no conversation. So now, like out of all of the topics that she can discuss with her son, she remember that he refused. Like, okay, you understand? Empty people.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So could this be part of Hashem's plan, so that the guy would not be so attached to his mother in the future, so that, I don't know, subsequently he would have to convert or something, and this would be easier because of it?
Maybe. I mean, yeah. I mean, of course, we must understand. This little guy did not have freedom of choice. Maybe it's something that she likes to eat, and the milk was bitter. I mean, for us, for her, she tasted it was normal, but for a little boy, it was very bitter, and he refused. Right? Maybe she ate garlic. I don't know, whatever, something, radishes, some nuts. I don't know, some things. Okay. Or she had to take some medicine. And he was very sensitive to that medicine. He refused to eat. Okay, possible. Was it Hashem plans like this? Yeah, I mean, combination of things, but it's possible. Yeah, not to attach, not to get too much attached to the mother.
Okay. Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Thank you much, Rabbi. Next question. On hanging clothes up to dry on Shabbos. Considering we are not hanging outside, and it is forbidden, can we hang in front of a window, or will it be a concern for winnowing? So it says the windowsill.
Apologies. Step back. Concern for what? Win-win. Okay.
Yes, menatech.
Okay, so continue. Continue, please.
For win-win, number 1 in the window sill, number 2 near the window.
That's it, or okay? So could you? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's do it again because it's not so clear. Okay, so one more time. So person did laundry, let's say on Shabbos, right? The way I understand. So now, let's say that there is no light. There is no light in the washing machine. A person opened up the washing machine, even like opened before. Let's simplify situation. Like washing machine stopped before Shabbos. Let's say, right? He opened or she opened the door and forgot to hang out, right? So of course, forget about dry to hang out, right? This wet clothing. So is it possible? Is it allowed to hang it somewhere else? I mean, as we said, outside it's not a good idea because people might suspect that we actually did on Shabbos, the laundry on Shabbos itself. Not a good idea because they would come like I don't know later on and they say they just did the laundry. Guess what? Okay, but in your house you can hang, of course, not in a perfect way, like not to try to stretch, like straight everything out. No, just put it anyway, like without care, because again, like it's part of the laundry. So try not to squeeze and put it in a hanger, and put it somewhere on a chair, whatever you want, and let it dry. There is no problem. I'm not sure how is it win-win effects. I don't know. Win-win is usually like I would say the one of the melacha win-win when they crush this beat the wheat, for example, and separate the seed from the chaff, and they would like they throw everything out up in the air, and the wind would blow off the chaff. So today they say don't, if you're in an apartment building, don't spit from your window, let's say, or if you're from a balcony. Because why? Because the wind is going to separate your saliva, spread out your saliva. So it's in some sense is win-win. So if person meant like to put like above your balcony, like that is hanging outside or something, and the water is dripping and it's there is a wind. So I mean, yeah, maybe. And plus there is another problem is we are not allowed to plow or to seed, right? To plant the seeds, right? And one of the talada from planting the seeds is what is actually watering the ground. So if you put your wet clothing from let's say that this is my balcony, like over the rails, so they're going to drip on the ground. So that's you have yourself issues. First of all, you're planting meaning you watering the ground, and if there is a wind, so yeah, then you win the wind. Yes, but inside of the house there is no problem. Of course, don't try to stretch, don't try to make everything look perfect. Don't do that. So if you don't do that, there is no problem. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
No friends adding, because I have heard that you cannot place wet clothing in front of a heater, because it will be like winnowing, like a raincoat. I was wondering if it also applies to a window, because you're using wind/air to separate a product from something.
No, there's no problem. So I got it. So now I apologize. Somehow I misunderstood. So if you just open the window so like the air would air out and dry it faster, there's no problem whatsoever. So the only issue, practical issues, as I described, right? But those are not win-win.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
No. Does the prohibition with hanging clothes outside also apply to wet socks and shoes?
That's a very good question. So, I mean, on Shabbos, is it allowed to do that? I would say it would not create a muddy sign, because people understand that you just got wet, very wet. But still, I mean, if it's still raining, it's not going to help you very much. Let's put it this way. I would say don't do it because maybe it's not proper to put your socks outside for everybody, the whole world see your socks. Like in Israel, it's very common. People dry their clothes outside. I mean, because guess what? It's so hot outside. It's a pity to waste the electricity. I mean, if it's like shorts or something, there is no problem. But some other things, it's better not to dry. Well, even the religious people I saw. Okay, but if it's not common in where you live to dry the clothes on a clothing line, don't do it. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just got confused on the when in Hebrew is zoreh. Zoreh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
So it was something else. So next question. One suffers PTSD and other psychological symptoms from upbringing and is unable to visit psychologists. Should he read related psychological books for help, or it's not needed, and he should only focus on studying Torah and praying to Hashem?
I think that's the best. Study Torah. Torah is a cure from any malady, be it spiritual, physical, right? And praying to Hashem. Hashem is a master healer. Especially here, most likely you don't need any medicine. You just need to rewire your brain, right? So Torah is the best. And the deeper you learn, the more it's going to help. For sure.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Love, is it appropriate for a man to be shirtless or only in tzitzis in front of a woman, why if they are the sister, wife, in nidah, or stranger?
Okay, so one is it appropriate for a man to be shirtless in tzitzis? So usually in tzitzis, it's not like usually the way I understand. Correct me if I'm wrong. So he has let's say short sleeve shirt, like t-shirt, right? T-shirt, and on top of that he has tzitzis. I mean, it's not very modest, but okay. So I mean, if she came to visit his I don't know, his wife, and he's like that, so he opened the door like that. If he's at home, he's very hot, so maybe okay. But I would suggest that he would go to his room and put on his shirt. It's not proper. If it's in the house, it's very hot, and there's his mother, his sister, this is no problem. It's still considered to be Tznius. But other foreign women, but absolutely not. And it's just so I know every person is trainable. Like you can train yourself, pray to Hashem, train yourself, and you can ignore heat, right? To the large extent. Somebody I know how they know, very very close to me. I used to be like very hot-blooded. Meaning person never person own two white shorts, like on sleeve, because he had to go to job interview. So all of the shorts were short sleeve, right? And that's it. Like no undershirt, nothing, right? Before person did the shiur. That's it. And he would go like shovel the snow in the shorts and slippers, so everybody see how cool he is. You understand? So, but when he learned about Tznius, person changed, right? And so you just work on yourself, like in the winter. You start from the winter and you work yourself to the summer, and you can work in layers. And like of course it's hot, but not like other people would say like a horror story that they cannot wear tzitzis, even cotton tzitzis, because it's hot in summer. That's ridiculous.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Our friend says, what I need is plain tzitzis on top of the skin.
No, that's very modest. Usually people don't wear like that, unless I don't know. But if they do, that's a problem.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome. So the reason is very practical. So you need to change your shorts, I don't know, like every day. So are you going to change the tzitzis every day, or you don't get wet, right? You don't sweat, right? So I mean, how many times you're going to wash your tzitzis? You're going to ruin it very very fast. And the amount, the money of tzitzis, good quality tzitzis cost, you can buy yourself 50 shorts. Okay. You're welcome.
Next question will go off. Could it be considered an extra problem to place clothes to dry in front of a window, like Hilul Hashem, because a non-Jew might know that one cannot wash or work on Shabbos and believe that the Jew is transgressing?
Yes, that's what we mentioned in the beginning. It's called marisayin. So marisayin translate the way. So say the way I see. I mean I see, right? So what does it mean? So you did not do anything improper, as we explained the situation scenario. Like you finished before Shabbos, like all was done. There's no light in the machine. You did not close the door. Nothing. You just took the clothing and you put it in front of the window, and people, they come from shul at 7 p.m. say, oh look this guy, he's still hey Moshe, you still laundry. Guess what, it's Shabbos. And they say giggling, guess what, that's big it's money sign, like even though you did not do anything improper. So our sages were concerned that people might suspect you some impropriety, so don't do it. Absolutely not. But the actual question about non-Jews, I don't think they know about laundry. They know about maybe turning on the light. Right. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Question. Hashem, we have the guidance of Tznius for women. Could Rabbi elaborate more on how does the laws of Tznius apply to men? What are the common things that a man should be aware of?
So I mean, for men, Tznius is almost the same as for a woman. I don't know what is the big difference. I mean, first of all, Tznius starts with wearing manly clothes. not a girlish clothes, like all these colors, like pink, blue, pink, like some stuff like that. Okay, you like, I would say like solid colors is preferable, but it's not necessary, and it should not be tight, like these tight pants, right? And not to like people buy some like I don't know, boys, some like younger ones, so they buy these long shoes, like with long ends, like he's not so big, but he has like these shoes. Like, you serious? You understand? And it's not like I'm looking at the boys' shoes, men's shoes, but when you stand, for example, they call him to open up the ark, when to take out the Torah. So I mean, he's on a stage. Right, it's not like I'm going in the aisles and see who is wearing what. You understand? So that's like too much of going in a custom of the non-Jews, absolutely forbidden. Right. So of course hairstyles, whatever is the hairstyle they use, so we should not. Right, and this hair. But what about for example, the Gemara gives, if they use red shoestrings forever, it's because it's popular, that's trend, it's absolutely forbidden for us. So we cannot copy their ways. Understand? If they take this haircut or that haircut, whatever is a trend for them, it's not allowed for us. So we must look different. Right? And clothing again, so like normal classic clothing. Well, somebody wants to wear jacket, no jacket, no problem. But the pants, the slacks must be like not tight, right? First of all, it's not good for procreation to have to wear tight clothing, and plus it's from urology right point of view also not good. And it's not Tznius, so it must be like not huge, but your size. Just find the model that of pants that is good, right? Tznius. That's it. So it's proper for men to wear a long sleeve, right? If people in his community, for example, all wear long sleeve, so he also have to not to be different, right? And again, so like as I know from all of the people that I was trying to guide, so people say no, I cannot, it's too hard. And I say if you see that for and same for women, right? If you see that every drop of sweat that you have in the summer is Hashem is going to pay a little diamond, same size drop of sweat, same size. Are you going to say no, or you guys say Hashem, I have this down jacket in my closet. Can I wear it the next time? I like these diamonds. You understand? So it's for men and for women. And if you see sometimes this Muslim walk, right? She's like very, very modest, and he's like, I don't know, he's in shorts, in a t-shirt, right? In a sandals. So it looks like they're from two different planets. Right? She's very, very modest, and he's like, I don't know. But when a Jewish couple are walking, so he's modest, she's modest. So maybe like if you wear like a jacket or something, so it would be supporting in some sense to your wife. When she dresses modestly, she said, "Yeah, look, it's also very hard to me, and I understand. Look, I also very sweaty, but I appreciate that you're doing it for me, right? So that you bring blessing to our life, and I'm not just saying that. So I'm supporting you, supporting Hashem, supporting everybody, right? Through every good cause, and I also dress modestly, right? But if he's walking in a t-shirt and a shorts, and what can he tell his wife, right? Absolutely nothing. You're welcome.
So on this, I was wondering, is it okay for a guy to wear like denim or like jeans that are like, I don't know, dark, black, or as long as
Yes, there is no problem with jeans. I mean, not tight. That's it. Not tight.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Yeah.
And me personally, I have flat feet, and usually get like comfortable shoes, like leather shoes, to wear. It's like a pain, and usually I find this sneakers much more comfortable for me. So would it be okay to wear these sneakers? I mean, black sneakers, nothing that gets too much attention, and the rest of the outfit could be much 100% orthodox, like the black pants and white shirt.
No, it's not. Black and white, it's not necessary. It doesn't look. Don't get carried away. What I say is a solid color, whatever, like blue, green, whatever, solid color. Not yellow, not like pink or something. Not red, but there are 1.5 million colors. Not purple. So we have a guy. I don't know how old is he, but there is a Barney. There is a cartoon about Barney. I love you, you love me. So this guy comes with such a purple. Like I don't know where do you get it? Like have you like older man in his mid-60s, 70s? I don't know. Okay, maybe it was his dream from 1970s or something, from 1980s. But we very representative of Hashem, like his children, should represent him, not what the other people like to wear. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi. So, what about the sneakers?
Sneakers, there is no problem with the sneakers. No problem whatsoever. So sometimes I see in just like a few years ago, I was looking for a pair of shoes on the internet, and I saw and I asked my wife, like, why would normal person to buy like black shoes and with like a white sole? Like, what is it? Like, how does it go together? Or like two different colors? Like, it just started like I don't know when. And I see sometimes in shoe people come like that. I mean, and the shoes are like more like shoes, like sporty ones. Like there is always black and black. There is always blue and blue. Like just get the solid colors. Why they have to be like it's very eye catching. Understand? So, but if, as you said, black or whatever color, there is no problem. No problem. Some people come to my show that come like that they have to walk a long way. For example, and some elderly people, it's not so easy for them to walk. So they walk in this like black sneakers. Unless you look, you would not know that it's sneakers. Very, very modest. Yeah.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question. If our spouse finds certain immodest attire very enticing, is it obligated to indulge them in their desires in order to fulfill the mitzvah or pleasing our spouse, as long as it is done privately and doesn't transgress any prohibition?
I did not get the question, sorry. Can we do it again, please? Sorry.
Sure, yes. But if our spouse finds certain immodest attire very enticing.
Okay, spouse, okay, find some modest attire very enticing for him. Let's say, okay, yes. Okay.
Is it obligated to indulge them in their desires in order to fulfill the mitzvah of pleasing our spouse, as long as it is done privately and doesn't transgress any prohibition?
Yeah, absolutely. There is no problem with that. I mean, that's the mitzvah for a woman to be pretty in the eyes of the husband. He likes this, so okay, so let it be that. So she should not like think too much about his spirituality. We're going to work on spirituality later on. I'm trying to like work with somebody. Right now, a person is a fire and trying to fix everybody like tomorrow. So I'm trying like take it easy. So same, right? Same in this case. So yeah, it's actually very good. If husband finds his wife attractive and she's shy, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the husband. Baruch Hashem, that's healthy relationships, right?
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
The question to the left, does military camo count as plain clothing?
I think so. I would not recommend for women, but for men, yes. No problem. Okay. But I think this camo, the thing is that you see only like these macho guys walking like I'm a soldier. I met a soldier yesterday. First I thought that he's like dressed like that, but I was when we meet like on the street, so I said no, it's actually the whole uniform. So he's actually probably in vacation or something. You understand? So it's like macho, so everybody would turn around like. So we try not to. We are not warriors. We are not warriors as they are. Whatever is they glorify is to be strong, to kill people, to fight. It's not our way. We have Hashem who fights for us. Right? We are fighter with our mouth. We learn Torah.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question to the left. If one finds cigarette or cigar smoke a repelling smell, is one allowed to learn Torah or recite a brocha when smelling it?
I mean, if person is disgusted from that, so like from I don't remember. Somebody asked me a question about, I don't remember what was it, but person find it so disgusting that like ready to vomit. So they said absolutely not. It's not allowed. Even though I don't remember exactly, but it was not like all majority of the people would not find it offensive. Like example, it's not example that I'm thinking, but the example that I gave about like fresh painted room. So maybe person I like I move for water based paint, not oil based. You can get high from that one, but from water based. I mean, I like the fresh paint, but my wife find it very offensive. So like, I'm not sure how majority of the people, but it's not offensive. But for that person, if she finds it very offensive, right, so she cannot stand in that room, right? So that's it, right? That's it. So she cannot pray there, right? So if same with that person, these cigars, especially stale ones, they stale like. We had a guest one time, maybe I said this a few times, but that one was actually, I think he was saving like cigarettes are very expensive. But I don't know how much, like, but more than $20 a pack for sure. I don't know, 24, I don't know, a lot. Right? And a person would save like a cigarette, so smoke a little and then put where in the pocket. And then we put this jacket, guess what, in our closet, coat closet. And after like I was hanging, like I was walking this person away, off, right? And I took his coat to hang. I was like, ugh. And then the whole closet smells so bad, it's unbelievable. We had to remove everything from the closet. And like air out and then spray with air fresheners. It's so bad. So it disgusted. Like when I took his coat, like I was like I don't know, maybe it was like on a level of color or something. Like when the smokes come out, it's disgusting. So So if person like feels like that, not allowed to pray there, not allowed to learn there.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So next question, Goldolov. How should a husband and wife discuss what their spiritual standings are and therefore know what is needed for a healthy relationship along the lines of what is needed to entice? Would a husband be allowed to state to his wife directly what to wear?
Technically, yes. I mean, in a nice forms, like, right? Yeah, very, very, very soft way. Yeah, absolutely. Right. So of course it should not. So it would be with should be with that, and it should be okay with her also. So I mean, of course, it's advisable for her to accept if it's not some craziness. And yeah, absolutely, there is no problem.
Hey, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So what about discussing these things before marriage, like to be bled in a little bit with fire? Or I mean, I think these things should be discussed because there's people that teach you about for very deep, complex things in regards to immodesty and I was thinking, so whatever thought that the person has during intimacy is going to be imprinted in the kid. So I was thinking, so if the person is very, very picky with these things because of this Shua process, should this be addressed before the actual wedding?
That's very good question. I think it's a very, very important question. So I mean, we have to think how we do it very, very gently with a tact and see, yeah, because it's very important. I think it's very, very important, right? If it's one of the key points of the marriage, right? If she said absolutely not, he said absolutely yes. So what are you going to do? Yeah. Yeah. So people have to be on the same wave, or at least like very, very close, and it's a workable situation. Because when they're too far away, like from different planets, it's not going to work out. It's only a matter of time when it's going to explode on everybody's face, especially in our generation. Everybody has such an ego, and nobody wants to listen. Everybody wants to talk. Right? That's the issue. Right? So I would say, yeah, it's proper to discuss it, not with all of the details, but get the general feel what's going on. Yes.
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So, should a woman take liberty on what to wear, or could it be offensive to the husband?
I mean, at home, or
I would say, I think, I mean, yes. A princess, yes.
so can a woman take a liberty what to wear in the house? Yes, yes, absolutely. I mean, I'm not sure what would be the issue. I mean, if it is like not upsetting to him, whatever she wears, there is no problem. There's no problem. Especially if she's not going out. Like if she said, "Oh, I need to take the garbage out, but now I have to change this and that. I'm going to go like this. Nobody is going to see me. It's very fast. That's the problem. But if she is walking immodestly, for example, in the house, right, which is no problem because nobody sees her, and if he needs to learn, he will go to a different room, for example, there is no problem. There is no problem whatsoever. And she can walk in shorts, in a tank top. There is no problem whatsoever.
Take your way.
You're welcome.
So a friend asks For example, immodesty during the times outside of nida.
Immodesty outside of nida. So that's not
outside the time of nida.
But
Time.
But there is no problem whatsoever if it's so meaning time outside of nida, meaning that they allow to each other. There is no problem whatsoever. Unless the question is something else that we're not catching. But yeah, straightforward question answer. There is no problem.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So I don't know if this. Okay, so a friend says, for example, immodesty during the times outside of nida, is being immodest around your husband recommended? Or she won't strive to be modest even around their husband?
Okay, so I mean, so before that, okay, so I don't want to look like I give you two different answers to the same question. So the questions before that was it allowed? So and we answered yes, it is allowed, whatever we said. But now the question is it recommended? Is it recommended? It's not recommended. Right? Some things are allowed, and some things are recommended. So is it recommended? No, absolutely not. The more Tznius she is, yeah. I mean, the more attractive she would be in privacy, right? When it's all covered, when it's all like a secret for him. But when he sees her in in a modest state, when they're not in their bedroom, so it detracts from excitement. Is it allowed? Yes. Recommended? Absolutely not.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So, on the question of dressing in attracting ways for spouse in private, if one has a strong inclination for physicality or sensuality, would it be a concern for overindulgence or triggering Yetzirah? For example, if the wife is willing to dress according to her husband's taste, but she is afraid to get indulged in physicality and trigger her Yetzirah for immodesty, is this a reasonable concern?
It is a reasonable concern. So if a person says, so it's up to here, right? So when she's together with her husband, that's perfectly fine. So when she's together with her husband, it's perfectly fine. But going outside, it's not fine. Or even going outside to check the mail, it's not fine. So of course, it's many things are allowed, but it has to be in a boundary. So if she feels that drives her to a different side, so she must control herself then, because it's not healthy. So it's healthy after the point. So up to here, no problem. Outside, problem.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question, if we are a single man who does not have any extraterrestrial intimate needs, how amendable should we be to indulging the potential spouse's desires in measuring her for suitability, knowing we would be obligated to satisfy our spouse? What if new ideas and desires arise later on? Would indulging her lead to escalation if strange requests?
I missed. I mean, I got the only parts of the question. Could you read it again, please? Sorry.
Yes. So if we are a single man who does not have any extraterrestrial intimate needs, how amendable should we be to indulging the potential spouse's desires in measuring her for suitability, knowing we would be obligated to satisfy our spouse?
So okay, so let's stop right here. Okay, so we cannot see if let's put it this way: if a man is not sick, right? If he everything is working, but he has no desire, and that's good, because there is no need for that desire. Understand? So when the time comes, and when he's going to put in that situation, so Hashem is going to open again his desire. So there is just because he can control himself does not mean that there is something wrong with him, and he can negotiate with her something. There is nothing to negotiate. You understand? There is nothing to understand. Of course, they can discuss like some things, but very very like gentle, very like hypothetical, very very like right. But when time comes, the person again, not physically sick, he's going to have desires. That's normal. Right? When person has desires like all the time, it's like a dog. Where's the difference? The dog comes and look left and right. That's dog, right? Man, when he's single, he behaves like this. When he's not single, but he's married, he must behave differently. Right. Okay, so let's continue. Second part.
What if new ideas and desires arise later on? Would indulging her lead to escalation if strange requests?
I mean, how strange this request? I mean, we can evaluate when the time comes to that time when strange requests. Usually, majority of the people do not have strange requests. Some people do when they have a perverted past or something. But some people from perverted past did such a big teshuvah, they are modest of the modest. Understand? Because they're trying to stay away from their past, and they embarrassed, and they through teshuvah. Right? So not even compared to to other women, for example, who were never with men. Okay. So I would say, don't worry about this too much. Like. Let it go, and just see that you agree with the future wife on all of the major ideas, and this are workable, right? If she's a spiritual person, she's God-fearing person, there is no problem. That's the main part. If a person is not God-fearing, you're never going to find a compromise. She would say only as I say, or he's going to say only as I say. That's it.
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So, I was thinking now that Kabbalah mentioned the perverted thoughts of someone that did tshuva for very deep things. So, would it be recommendable for this person to look forward to meeting a spouse that did a similar type of tshuva, or is this like a harbinger for disaster? I don't know. Would it be better for him to go and marry somewhere very, very righteous, like from birth, so that he won't have to, deal with this issues in the future later on? So he's gonna make sure that his spouse is not gonna trigger any foreign thoughts in his mind, because she was already very modest from the beginning.
I mean, I don't think that we have to say only this or that. It depends on the person. So if, for example, he did teshuvah and she did teshuvah, there is nothing to worry about. If they would be afraid, right? People who have no experience with that, they would not be afraid. They think they want to explore, let's say. But people who have experience, they say, no, from this I'm going to stay as far as possible. And so I would not narrow our source bid on this criteria.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So, one issue is the fact that the person did tshuva for what he used to do, and another issue is the actual, I wouldn't call it necessity or urge, or the actual need that the person have for of the person has for intimacy, or how often he wants to do these things, of course, or to engage into, of course, intimacy, depending on how much he needs it, how much libido the person has, the level of libido the person has. So should he, of course, everything within the permissible parameters of the intimacy. So should the person look forward to, or should the person look to get to know someone that has, so to speak, the same level of libido, same level of?
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but people change. For example, so I mean, people change. If they have this chemistry to be together, everything can change in one day, 1 minute. Understand? So we cannot do. I would say do not do all these calculations. So just make sure so the person is more or less normal, not somebody who's a perverted. So that's it. Don't think about it too much. Right? Make sure that if person is God-fearing person, if you say no, not allowed, they can always stop, and that's it. If a person is not God-fearing, nothing is going to stop him or her, doesn't matter.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So I have this question that I forgot to make. This is more regarding to Tznius and perhaps Yichud in some cases, but I was wondering, like after divorce, after a couple gets divorced, how should the relationship between the parents be regarding their children upbringing? Like, should it be through the new spouse in case both remarry, or how should this be handled?
New spouse is out of the question, because the thing of the jealousy is usually still there. So he replace me with her, or her replace me with him. So that's not a good idea. So they have to handle it themselves. Try to be sociable, cordial, and understand it's for the best of the children, right? Because if children are going to grow up not healthy psychologically, who is going to benefit? Understand? So just forget about all of these old issues, and try to raise the child for his or her best, right? Whatever. So if they need to smile when they're together, so they must smile, right? And that's it, because of the child.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
I was thinking, so what about the situations that require long periods of communication? For example, I've seen this couples that get divorced and then they have very, very, very long conversations over the phone about the kid and this and that, and I would say this is not very appropriate.
Yeah.
So
she's a foreign woman to him, 100%, and she's more forbidden to him than any other woman. It says actually, so you cannot live on your one street with your spouse, alleyway, whatever it means, alleyway, right? Not very close. Why? Because you have this familiarity. You can meet her in supermarket and say, you remember the old good days, and guess what? Right. So, and this long conversation, not very practical. So I guess if it's about child, go to somebody who can help counseling with the child. Let the third person listen to you, to your wife, and tell you what to do. Because in many times when they divorce, they have this sealed bitterness in their heart. So now they're not going to agree to you. Maybe yes, maybe not. In many cases. So I'm trying to help people, but some people they hate the ex so much Doesn't matter what you tell them. Like how you say, move on. Why don't you get married? Like, no, but he's this. I say, forget it. It was 5 years ago. Like, move on. Like, unfortunately. So that's not so easy. Like to have this long conversation. And what I'm trying to say, they're not going to be productive, from my understanding. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So I think that was the last question. Our friend said, Rabbi Sai, I think it's getting late in case Blood has prior engagement. Yes. Yeah, that was the last question. Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay, thank you very much. So just to remind us, so today is Rosh Chodesh, right? And tomorrow is also Rosh Chodesh. Don't forget to add, I'm talking about men. I'm talking to men now. Women not obligated, but for men, women if they have time. So we skip Tachanun tomorrow completely, but you sell Yalaviyova, meaning this this paragraph in Shmona Esrei for Rosh Chodesh. Then we finish Shmona Esrei. We're going to Hallel, right? We read like shorter version on Hallel. Just follow your Siddur. Then you go back to Psuki de Zimra. No, it's not Psuki, to Shacharis. Do whatever this Valitzion, right? And then Ashrei Valitzion, and then you go back and you pray Musaf. Right, so tomorrow prayer is going to be much longer. How much longer? Maybe, and then we say special Tehillim add to the Tehillim of the day. So maybe it's even 15-20 minutes longer tomorrow. Okay, so wish everybody good night, good Chodesh, and until tomorrow same time. Thank you very much.